Brand new for the 2024 Braves Country Radio broadcast season. Along with pitch-by-pitch, play-by-play, the classic call of Braves Country Baseball, we will bring you a live pregame show and postgame show. Phone lines wide open for you to call, react, or ask your questions along with the chat. That's Braves Country today pregame, Braves Country tonight postgame. We'll see you in 2024. Hey, Braves Country, this is Mac McGee with Braves Country Radio. We are bringing you pitch-by-pitch, play-by-play of your Atlanta Braves all year long. Please like and subscribe today. It's free, and it helps us bring you more of the game we all love. Braves Country Radio, your home for the classic call of Braves Country Baseball.
Here's good news. There's still a need for hundreds of thousands of cybersecurity professionals in the U.S. right now. And My Computer Career is training people to help meet the demand. No IT experience? No problem. Take the free career evaluation today. Start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Grants covering up to 53% of the cost are available to those who qualify. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge, so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style in dining rooms or al fresco on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
Braves Country today. We're talking Southern sports. We go live 3 to 5 weekdays right here on WQEE. Braves Country today, Southern sports talk with the voice of Braves Country Baseball, Mac McGee. Joined every day from sports analysts from all over Braves Country, talking college football, the NFL, Major League Baseball, and what's trending in the world of sports. Braves Country today. We go live 3 to 5 weekdays right here on WQEE.
It all starts with just one thing. When recycling, rinse out jars and cans, and avoid recycling wax paper or paper soiled with food. This will reduce recycling contamination. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
Hey, Braves Country, this is Mac McGee with Braves Country Radio. We are bringing you pitch-by-pitch, play-by-play of your Atlanta Braves all year long. Please like and subscribe today. It's free, and it helps us bring you more of the game we all love. Braves Country Radio, your home for the classic call of Braves Country Baseball.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rod Peterson here, host of The Rod Peterson Show, inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because it is. You've never heard a show like it because we make the listeners a part of the show every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more. And who knows, you might even hear you. That's the Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
Brand new for the 2024 Braves Country Radio broadcast season. Along with pitch-by-pitch, play-by-play, the classic call of Braves Country Baseball, we will bring you a live pregame show and postgame show. Phone lines wide open for you to call, react, or ask your questions along with the chat. That's Braves Country today pregame, Braves Country tonight postgame. We'll see you in 2024. Braves country. Hello, Braves country. How the hell are you? Hope everybody's getting ready for Christmas. And, man, what is the deal with all the damn birthdays that hang around Christmas? I opened up my Facebook, was it yesterday? I believe it was. And including my wife's birthday, there were 6 other people who were born on that day celebrating their birthday. I was like, my God. What the hell's going on? Let me see. March, December. Are we trying to tell ourselves that these are St. Patrick's Day babies? Something's going on. I mean, my God. I always knew that September was a popular month because it's right after New Year's Eve, and it's one of the more populated months. It's when my birthday is, and I've always noticed a lot, but I've never really thought about December. But man, all right, let's get rolling. We got so much to get into and a little time to do it. We're going to keep this one pretty tight today. First of all, Kevin Seitzer. If you did not see the news, Kevin Seitzer, the Braves hitting coach, he gets a round of applause today. Kevin Seitzer wins Major League Baseball Coach of the Year. Now, that's not the Manager of the Year, but what it means is that he was the top coach, the non-manager, right? So, and I think we all know why he won. I'm sure he's going to tell you he had nothing to do with it, but when you put out an offense that was record-breaking, record-shattering, you're going to tend to win the Coach of the Year. So congratulations to Kevin Seitzer. And I'm really surprised more folks have not come to him for head coach managerial positions. But hey, hopefully he'll stay under the radar. It's going to be a little more difficult for him to stay under the radar now that he's won Coach of the Year, but hopefully he does for a little bit. Getting some really bad weather outside, so hopefully I don't lose you, but if I do, if we lose power, that's what happened. All right. The other thing of note that I thought this was pretty cool news. Noticed this today, and I was like, man, we got to talk about this. So March 14th through the 17th, during Major League Baseball spring training, all 30 teams are set to assemble their top 20 to 25 prospects. It's totally up to the team itself. And you probably don't even realistically have to put that many together, but they want them on display. Top 20 to 25 prospects, and they are going to go up against other teams. Now, this could be something down the road where they're going to actually keep up with who wins and loses and whatnot, but this isn't something goofy like the NBA play-in tournament. This is what it is. It's a showcase for the fans midway through spring training to be able to see the top prospects in your organization all on the field. And you kind of get an idea of what, when you're because we read up on all these kids, we see video on all these kids, but they're usually, small clips. But this is going to be a game that every team is going to play at least one game. They said a few of them will have to play 2 just to make the numbers work. I don't really know why that's, well, never mind. I do know why. I was about to say there's an even number of Major League Baseball teams, but you don't have the even number in the Arizona and the Grapefruit League. So basically, they want to make sure that every team gets a chance to do it twice. Now, they have not released the schedule yet. Once they do, we'll let you know. We are planning on carrying that game. We just have to wait for the schedule. And if there's some other intriguing games, we might carry them for other squads. If you have some highly rated prospects, et cetera, et cetera. So looking forward to that. Like I said, that's going to be March 14th through the 17th. They're going to be scattered. They've already announced one of the games is going to be on MLB Network. I really wish I could remember what teams they were. I want to say it was the Twins. I'm honestly don't remember, but it wasn't the Braves, so I didn't jot it down. So it'll be a 4-day event. And now, yes, there will continue to be spring training games for the veterans, but they're specifically putting those together. So basically, everybody does this all throughout spring training. We have a split squad scrimmage. It's going to be like a split squad, but specifically on those days, you are only going to have on those squads your top prospects versus their top prospects. And so we look forward to that. I can't wait to see the schedule. I can't wait to see who we go up against, and it should be a lot of fun. And I love the fact that they're doing it midway through, because you're not messing up the beginning of it. Beginning of spring training, most of these guys are only going to go one inning as it is. And if you wait till the end, you're trying to figure out who's going to make the team and whatnot. You don't need that junking it up. So I love the idea of it, and I love the fact that they're going to do it in the middle of spring training. It's going to be a 7-inning game, too, to note. 7-inning game. I really do think we're going to start going towards 7-inning games in spring training more and more. Remember, that was an option a couple of years ago during the pandemic and right outside the pandemic. And it sounds like more and more you're going to start. And you know what? I'm for it. We don't need 9-inning games in spring training. I mean, for that matter, the National Football League, why the hell are they playing four full quarters in their preseason game? Why does the NBA play full quarters? I like the idea of shortening it. Honestly, the NBA ought to go to 8 to 10 minute quarters. I would almost say go to like a college basketball half, first half and second half, but I'm sure that they want to separate themselves from that. And hockey, why not play just 2 periods instead of 3? Because the whole key to these spring training preseason games, whatever the sport is to get guys loose, get them ready, but you don't want to get them hurt. All right, other things that are circling around in not just Braves country, but in Major League Baseball, man, it's ramping up, and it's seeming more and more likely that Tyler Glasnow could be heading to the LA Dodgers. And, this phony baloney nonsense that went on, and I'm not dogging Dodger players. I'm not dogging Dodger fans. A little bit goes to the Dodger front office, but they're just taking advantage of this loophole. This really goes to Major League Baseball and the fact that they need to fix the fact that you should not be able to do what Ohtani did with his contract. For those who aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, most of y'all do know. The short of it is he's getting 2 a year, and then when he leaves, he's going to get 68 a year on the back end. So it's a 20-year contract, $2 million for 10 years each, and then 68 for 10. Now, regardless, we talked about this on the last time, but regardless what you hear, they will be hit for 46 this year on the cap. So it's not like, or the CBT as they like to call it. So it's not like he's only going to hit 2. It's still not genuine. It should still be the full 70, but I digress. But it looks like, so because that was allowed, Tyler Glasnow is set to make $25 million this year, and now they'll be able to sneak that under. They are also in talks with Yamamoto. And I saw an article, this never comes out this way, but this is what they were throwing out there, is the possibility that you could have Yamamoto and Glasnow both acquired by the Dodgers, right? And then Yamamoto's obviously would be a long-term deal. Now, he has till January 4th to decide. So we're going to be hearing all this Yamamoto stuff for the next 2-3 weeks. But Glasnow gets $25 million, and then he'll be a free agent, which means they can have him go kick rocks, right? Because Ohtani would be in the rotation next year. And it makes a lot of sense, but it's crooked the way Major League Baseball has set it up. Because once again, I'm not going to dog the Dodgers or the Dodger players that took advantage of it, or the fan bases. You can't go at them. You got to go at Major League Baseball. They're the ones that didn't have the four. I mean, I would have never thought that this would even be an option. Not for this. Basically, what they need to do is they need to lay out that X percent has to be paid per year, and you cannot kick. I mean, a guy's making $70 million, and he's gonna kick 68 out there. It's, for all intents and purposes, it's the whole damn contract, and that shouldn't be allowed. And when it goes on to the CBT number, it should be the whole damn number as it equals each and every year. But once again, you can't blame the Dodgers. You can't blame Ohtani. You got to blame Major League Baseball for allowing this nonsense to happen. And I would think at the next CBT, and just get ready for this, the next CBT, the Players Union is going to shut this down because they don't like the idea of setting the precedent that their players could get screwed, because these young guys, even with the agents, but not every agent is shrewd. These young guys with the agents can get tricked into something like this, and the Players Union is going to look at it as this is not good for the game. This is not good for their players and the almighty dollar. And so with all that being said, they've got to address it and shut it down. Now, players that are involved with Glasnow, it seems like the Dodgers moved to the forefront. There's still a couple of others that are mulling around. Yamamoto would obviously be the next big guy. Now he's actually the number one fish everyone's trying to get. But Yamamoto, it's being portrayed as it's between the Dodgers and the Yankees. Now, I find that interesting because I really thought the Mets were going to go all in. Hell, Steve Cohen, the owner, flew to Japan. So why are you flying to Japan if you're not going all in? Obviously, he didn't wow him, whether it was the dollar amount, the years, whatever it was. So there's still other teams in the mix. There's Toronto. They're saying Philadelphia. I'm not buying that one. I do buy the Toronto because they were so close to landing Ohtani. They want a big fish in this market. I'm a little surprised that they're going all in on a pitcher. I would have thought that they would have pivoted to a hitter. Bellinger and Jorge Soler make the most sense for the Blue Jays. But right now, the rumor is that they are kicking the tires pretty hard on Yamamoto. But for whatever reason, and granted, we get these articles from the different outlets, and half the time, these outlets are coming out of New York and out of Los Angeles. So when someone tells me the Dodgers and the Yankees are the front runners, I don't necessarily say that they're wrong, but I do wonder how accurate they are. Red Sox are involved. Giants are involved. The Giants they're swinging a miss on everything. Now, they did get Young-Ho Lee from the KBO. It was a 6-year, $113 million deal. And they're rumored to be in on Yamamoto. They're rumored to be in on a couple of guys from overseas. But I don't believe that you're looking at San Francisco being a realistic landing point for Yamamoto, because it's funny. Ken Rosenthal was talking about this yesterday, and he wouldn't say it, but you know what he was thinking. He said, for whatever reason, San Francisco doesn't seem to be a place where players are looking to move to, and he was skating around it. And of course, it all comes down to a couple of things. A, the crime rate has turned into a disaster in that city. B, it is extremely expensive to live in that city. And why do you want to pay extra to live somewhere where the crime rate has shot through the roof? And then C, because they're having a hard time landing free agent player A or B, C doesn't necessarily want to go there because they want to win. And so San Francisco's having a hard time, and it all comes down to their local government. But Rosenthal didn't want to get in the weeds on that, and I get that he didn't want to get canceled and all that stuff. But I'm going to call a spade, and we know why it's happening. And the Giants, look, Oakland's already taken off out of that area. I don't think the Giants are in any kind of a threatening position to leave, nor the 49ers. But you got to keep an eye on it, because if your city goes to crap, one of the first things that is a sure sign is when a team gets up and moves out of there. It happened to St. Louis in the 90s. St. Louis was turning into a war zone, and the Rams wanted to get the hell out of there. Now, they've done some things to help bring St. Louis back a little bit, but they still haven't brought an NFL team back. The Cardinals will never leave because the Cardinals have been there for that long. But anyways, it's interesting that you keep seeing the Giants being mentioned, but until they get that big fish, I will be absolutely shocked if they actually pull it in. I'm looking at Yamamoto. I still think the Mets have a decent shot. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. They got the money to back it up. They talked about how Yamamoto wants to play on a team where there's possibly another Japanese player. Now, that's why people start shading it towards the Dodgers. But remember, Kodai Senga came from the Japanese league as well. I don't know what their relationship is, if they're good friends or not, but that could be an option there. What is interesting on San Francisco with the Young-Ho Lee, they are in deep talks, and it looks like it might get done. Matt Chapman might be heading to the Giants. And that might be what the Giants have to do. They have to pivot to, we can't get Aaron Judge. We couldn't get Aaron Judge. We couldn't get Shohei Ohtani. There's been a number of free agents they have fallen flat on their face, and they've put the money up there. We couldn't get the Carlos Correa deal done. Well, maybe we have to pivot, and we have to get to that ring just below it. And Matt Chapman, and he's got a previous relationship with the new skipper there in San Francisco, played for him for 5 years. So we keep an eye on that. I do believe we're going to get a lot of movement in the next 7-8 calendar days. And then you're going to see it hit kind of, the quiet zone during the Christmas break, and then it'll come back rocking and rolling again in early January. Shohei Ohtani's press conference today, by the way, is at 6:00. Wouldn't that be something if right before that press conference, Yamamoto one-ups him and takes the deal for the for the Dodgers or the Yankees? See if we got any comments here. Chris says, I have a feeling that we're going to try to get Cease at a trade or sign someone like Giolito. The Cease thing is looking more and more like it's not going to happen. If you just listen to some of the things that Anthopoulos has said recently, now he could be trying to throw us off, but it's also not a great sign that the Braves have made a couple of trades already with the Chicago White Sox, and Cease hasn't been involved. So you do wonder if there's a point where either the White Sox asking price has to go way down, or the Braves are just willing to cave and give in. Now, we don't know what they're asking for, but whatever they're asking for, Alex Anthopoulos has not been a fan of at all. And I understand that. If they're trying to raid you in a situation where you know that this team's going nowhere, you feel like you might be able to get them a little cheaper at the deadline. My problem with that whole theory is this. A, you don't have him for the first close to 100 games of the season. B, when you get to the trade deadline, every team that thinks they have a chance to do what Arizona did last year and get hot, or what Philly did the year before, or what the Braves did and win the whole damn thing in 2021. Every team that feels like they've got that opportunity, they're all going to come rushing to the window. And so you have to take stock in who you have and who you're willing to give up. And I love the idea of getting a Dylan Cease, but we don't know what they're asking for. I would think Vaughn Grissom is absolutely a part of that discussion, and I don't have a problem with that. But considering the fact that we gutted our farm with a couple of guys who were injured, but we gutted our farm a few weeks ago, you start giving out 3, 4, 5 player type trades, you could really be just razor thin in your minors. And we all know it takes more than 26 guys to hoist a flag, to win a division, to get even further. And you can't just absolutely gut your minor league system because you want one guy. So I hope it's not Giolito. I am not a fan of Giolito. I think Giolito, he was basically batting practice. I would rather them sign someone who can go to the post, give us solid innings. Maybe he's not a guy who's going to be overly dominant, but he's going to be a hell of a lot better than Giolito. I mean, I've talked about this before, but I don't know if they're willing to go the 2-3 year route on a couple of these veterans, but a 2-year deal with Seth Lugo or a 2-year deal with Michael Walker makes a lot of sense, as long as you're not paying top dollar. The longer these guys sit out there, you would think the price would go down, but you never know who's going to scoop in there and grab them. There was also a pretty interesting report that came out this morning. The Baltimore Orioles and the Maryland government said that they are in talks and that a new lease is imminent. That's good news for baseball. It's good news for that organization and the fans there. As last thing you want to see is the Baltimore Orioles have to leave. We didn't talk about this before, but this happened several days ago. I guess it was last weekend that the news broke. The Mets' top prospect, Ronnie Mauricio, has torn his ACL. He's done for at least the 2024 season. Now, I don't know how much they were expecting him to contribute in 2024, but when your top prospect tears his ACL, that is never a good sign. Here's another thing that's been going on. Clayton Kershaw has still not told the Dodgers whether he plans on playing in 2024. And their president, Dodgers president, came out and said that they absolutely want him back, and understandably so. Kershaw joked on a radio interview this week, saying essentially the Shohei Ohtani deal makes him want to come back and play. In the context, you'd have to hear it, but he wasn't 1,000% clear on whether he was talking about the money that's being made or if he's talking about the fact that Ohtani coming back to the team, coming back to the Dodgers. I believe he's going to play, and I think the Dodgers are going to set that money aside. He's not expected to be ready till about halfway through the season. So even if he does come back and play for the Dodgers are going to look at him as the sixth man in their rotation, and they hope to get something out of him. But you're going to have to build a 5-man rotation without Clayton Kershaw, and then when he comes back, there's a good chance somebody's on the IL, and he'll take his spot. And so with all that being said, I do believe they're going to set that money aside. I do believe they are going to bring him back. I think he wants to come back, but he is not. The fact that he is not made that clear this late in the game. I mean, we're damn near at Christmas, and he has still not told them whether or not that he's going to come back or not. Let me see if anything else. What have we got here? Austin Wynns signed a major league contract with the Reds. That news just coming in. Looks like a 1-year deal, but we haven't got the numbers on it yet. And never mind. There it goes. Seth Lugo has signed a 2-year contract with the player option for 2026 to the Kansas City Royals. So there you have that. I know I had heard that Seth Lugo was being Seth Lugo and Giolito. Who was the other guy? They were all being courted by the Kansas City Royals. I don't think it was Walker. I believe it was someone else, but they got their guy. And the Royals are being kind of low-key aggressive. They've been signing guys. They're building a decent little pitching staff. It'll be interesting to see if they can compete. I still think they're a long ways off, and they may end up trading these guys. But the fact that they gave Seth Lugo a player option on that 2-year contract, he's going to be a lot more difficult to trade. Unless he's having an outstanding year. But you almost think that with a 2-year deal and a 3rd-year option, Royals won't be able to move him till next season. Because not a lot of teams are going to want to pick up a guy 6 months in to a contract that could be a 3-year deal if they weren't someone that they already coveted. Let me see who else we got. We got another deal here. Taylor Clark has been acquired from Kansas City in exchange for Ryan Brady and Cam Devaney. It's a minor trade, Royals and Brewers. I believe that's it. And yeah, that's so another starting pitcher off the board, Seth Lugo, off the board. Now, they have not released the numbers on it. I'll be interested to see what Seth Lugo signed for. But he must have felt like that he wasn't getting courted because there's no way, and nothing against the Royals organization, but there's no way where they're at in their development that you picked the Royals over an actual contender. Not just the Atlanta Braves, but any team that's out there. So he must not have gotten as much. I'm thinking he was probably getting a lot of 1-year offers, and they blew him away with the 2-year and the player option. And let me see. We've got. So they're talking about those matchups. They have so we talked about this at the top of the hour, or beginning of the show, I guess what I should say. The spring training, they're calling them breakout matches, and basically, if you're just joining us, it's the top 20 to 25 prospects. They will play each other. And they're starting to release the matchups. I don't see the Braves yet, but you've got Baltimore versus Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay versus the Twins, Washington versus the Mets, Seattle versus San Diego, and the Reds versus the Rangers. We ought to know more about this by next week, I would think, and we'll get you updated on that as soon as we get all that in. Other than that, there's just minor things that have happened. Things like Clutch Sports Group, which they are the folks that I believe they have LeBron James and a couple other NBA players. They announced that they picked up Rafael Devers, Devin Williams, and Andres Jimenez as their clients. Devers not a big deal. Devers already signed his big deal, so they're not going to get their chunk out of that. But Devin Williams is a nice little get for them. And other than that, I believe it's going to about wrap it up here. We do want to double check one more outlet to make sure we haven't got any breaking news. As if you're just joining us, Seth Lugo to the Kansas City Royals, so you can take him off the list. And if you're wondering, like, who does that leave? As far as for the Braves and the pitchers that are out there, you're talking about guys who have not signed. I'm not talking about trade, because there's a ton of guys out there that we could go trade wise, but guys who have not signed that are out there for the pickings. You've got certain guys that I do believe the Braves are still kicking the tires. And if you look at some of the things they did, like the fact that they took David Fletcher off the roster, and people who were wondering why they did that, they're seeing if there's any interest in him. And if someone comes up and scoops up his salary, they'll essentially let him have him and figure that out down the road. But if not, it gives them more flexibility when we get closer to the season to keep him off the roster. They can always add him to the 40-man and the 26. If he's on the Braves roster, come opening day, the plan is to have David Fletcher on our 26-man. But a lot of teams aren't willing to go and make a scoop like that at this time of the year because you haven't figured out where all your dollars are going. So they're sneaking them through the waiver system to give themselves more flexibility. So that's the real reason. And he is expected to make it through the system. But you're getting some big names that are coming off the list right now. And looking at the available free agents in the pitching staff, you still have Marcus Stroman sitting out there. By the way, I keep hearing so many different folks out there that are hinting that a team like the Boston Red Sox, a couple other teams are out there, could be signing Joey Votto. It is going to be so weird to see Joey Votto in a uniform that is not the Cincinnati Reds. Ryu is still out there. We talked about Kershaw. Alex Wood is still out there. Sean Manaea probably not going to get signed. Giolito. They once again, they keep saying his market value is $11.8 million. $11.8 million. I just don't see that. Why the hell would you pay Lucas Giolito $11.8 million? And he's 29, almost he'll be 30. So is he going to be looking for a long-term deal, or is he going to be a one? If he's a one and done guy, I don't have a problem with signing Giolito because he's got to go out there and prove it. You're not going to re-sign him anyways, and away you go. Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell, those are the next two big fish to fall. And once they get going, then you're going to open up a lot of talk about some of these older veterans that, once again, they say James Paxton, his market value is $9.3 million. He did pitch well last year. I just don't know how many years he can expect coming at 35 years old. Zach Greinke, by the way, did announce that he is in the market to pitch. So we'll see if someone signs Zach Greinke. He is going to be 41 years old next season. I don't see anybody signing Rich Hill to his market value at $9 million. That one right there is absolutely ridiculous. And Flaherty's still out there. I think you're going to see some of these guys like Flaherty and possibly even Walker and Giolito. I think those guys are going to be out there until January because you're going to wait for the bigger fish to fall, and then they're going to have to start either A, accepting the fact that they're going to get a 1-year prove-it deal, or B, if they want a multi-year deal, they're going to have to dial it back. They're going to have to figure out, all right, if I want a multi-year deal, I've got to bring my AAV down because these guys just simply are not worth that kind of an investment. You're taking a huge risk that a guy's going to push back time when he hasn't looked that great. I would rather take a flyer on like a Chris Flexen. I would rather take a flyer on any number of guys who could, and can we talk about the fact that nobody, and I mean nobody, is talking to Trevor Bauer? The whole thing about Trevor Bauer makes zero sense. It came out that the whole story, all the accusations were fabricated. So he did his time. Then The arbitrator said your suspension was way too long. They lifted it. No one claimed him off waivers last year. And now he is free to sign with whoever he wants. He'll be 33 years old at opening day. He's posted some good numbers. And nobody is willing to get... I guarantee you Trevor Bauer would come in. Man, you know Trevor Bauer would jump at the opportunity to pitch for the Atlanta Braves on a 1-year prove-it deal. You know he would. He'd probably even give you a pretty reasonable player option with a very short buyout. So a 1 year and a player option. And nobody's giving him a chance. Nobody. It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense that nobody is going to give Trevor Bauer a shot. You can't make me believe he wouldn't be worth whatever the hell. I mean, you're talking about bringing in a guy probably in between around $5 million. I would think that would be the absolute ceiling of what he would be asking for, because he just wants an opportunity to reset his market and everybody to forget about the fact that he was accused of something. Evidently, it was a bunch of hooey. All right, we're going to go ahead and jam out of here. Y'all have a great day. We'll be back here on Braves Country. Hot Stove, we'll be doing this again. Let's see, Monday, 4 Eastern, we'll go live Monday and Thursday. Now, remember, Christmas and New Year's week, we won't have a Monday show for obvious reasons because Christmas and New Year's Day fall on Mondays this year. But y'all have a great day, and go Braves! Man, I mean, can we go get some Trevor Bauer? What the hell?